Do you think she puts too much trust in Harrison Wells, and will that maybe come back to bite her?
When you look at it from the perspective of there's this huge particle accelerator explosion and Caitlin stayed with Dr. Wells, you have to, I imagine that she had great faith in him. Everybody else left him, but Caitlin and Cisco stayed. So, she really believes that they can change the world together. And, if someone says otherwise, it's definitely going to be hard for her to believe, to push back a little bit.
How much did you freak out when you found out we got a big reveal in the last episode about Harrison Wells? And,
yes. It was a great twist. That I certainly didn't see coming.
Did it change the game of the way you thought about just the show, or how your character fits in that now?
It's really exciting, actually, and that's what's great about these writers is that they are inventive and they're trying to think of a different way that's not so obvious. So it's cool and it's exciting to think about, how that could shape our future. Obviously I love Tom and working with him, so it's exciting to see what his challenge will be next.
Do you remember, if you think back to when the show started, do you remember what your initial expectations for it were and for the character, and maybe if they've changed or evolved over the course of the season?
I don't really know that I had a lot of expectations. Sort of taking it as it's come, and I love what they've done with Caitlin. They've really warmed her up a lot. I was surprised that they brought Ronnie back so quickly, and so grateful that they brought an amazing actor like Robbie in to play him. So that's been really exciting. I'm not sure. I don't know that I had any real expectations that have shifted.
So, speaking of Ronnie, we got to see him a lot earlier than we expected, just like you said. And are we going to get to see any more kind of romantic turns for Caitlin? I know we got to see a really cute summer lovin' duet with Barry, but obviously Snowberry is probably not going to happen anytime soon. Is there anything that we can look forward to in the future for Caitlin?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we still have a long way to go this season, and there is a chemistry between them that hopefully we will continue to explore as the years go on and that sort of thing. Robbie will be back. We haven't seen the last of Firestorm, so that's really exciting too. It's so hard not to give too much away. What can I say? But yes, there will be some Barry Caitlin scenes that the Snowberry fans will be very excited by, and then there will be some Ronnie and Caitlin scenes that the Snowstorm fans will be excited by.
Well, Caitlin is known as becoming Killer Frost in the comics. Would you be thrilled or devastated if she were to eventually become a villain in later episodes?
Thrilled. I would be thrilled. It's so exciting. It's so cool. I mean, to be in this comic book world and to have someone with that potential, it's great. I think I make Andrew crazy when I'm like, so? When are we going to do it? And the truth of the matter is it will be sooner than I expect. That's an expectation. And to go back to your expectations question, my expectation was that we would not see Killer Frost for a couple of seasons. And you will see her sooner than you think.
Speaking of metahumans, if you were a metahuman, what would you want your power to be? Because you already play such a strong female character.
Oh, thanks.
Which I think is not that.
I do too. I don't know. I go back and forth. Maybe to be invisible. I feel like you could get a lot of information. Maybe just an invisibility cloak too. That would work. Maybe Cisco can make me one of those.
Are there any characters on the show you haven't spent a lot of time with previously that in sort of the batch of episodes you do get to share some scenes with?
Yes, I share some scenes with. Yes, there are characters. There are characters that we have seen that Caitlin got to spend more time with. We get to see some flashbacks coming up. So you get to see, sort of the older Caitlin, the more cold Caitlin, and she interacts with Iris a little bit. And then yes, she will interact with some familiar faces, especially episode 22.
And did you get to work with Grodd at all?
I did get to work with Grodd, and it's so exciting. I can't believe, again, always impressed by our writers that they've been ambitious enough to bring Grodd into season 1, and he is more than you could ever imagine. The stuff with Grodd is scarier than you can imagine. Some of it's also funnier than you can imagine. So it's great. I can't wait to see him.
So we've been seeing Cisco kind of, in the previous episode when he found out about Harrison Wells, and then they did the whole flashback and it was all erased, and it seems like their loyalty to Harrison Wells has kind of been strengthened in the past few episodes. Are we going to see that loyalty tested more as the season goes towards the end?
I thought there was a really great moment that Grant played. I think it was in 17, where he's having this inner struggle, and it's essentially lying to his face because he needs to keep a face in front of Harrison until they can get more information from him. So you are going to see them struggle with that more and more. And Caitlin in particular, it's really hard for.
But somehow the dynamic, by the end of the season between the Star Labs team is going to change in some way, shape, or form. Does that give you anxiety because you have such a great rapport with your fellow actors and that great chemistry that you guys all share as a team on the show?
And actually, I feel great about that because that chemistry between us will always be there. I will always love working with Grant and Tom and Carlos and Jesse when I get the opportunity to. So that is actually, it's fun. It will be fun to see what happens if you put us in a different environment and how we all react and how we all come together.
So it's really great seeing you guys work with the Arrow cast too, and I really love the crossover episodes that you guys get to do together. So what's some of your fondest memories of working with them?
It's really fun. I wish I'd gotten to work with Emily more in this last one than I did, but it was my first time ever working with Brandon, and I think I texted Andrew his first week there. I was like, so I think he's a real life superpower, and he's the nicest person ever. Brandon's amazing, and it was such a treat to work with him and get to know him a little bit. I wish there were more. I'm trying to think. There will be more crossovers. I think if you saw the teaser that aired at the end of the last episode, it certainly looks like Arrow's coming back to Central City. So it's exciting. Yeah, hopefully more. I would love more Felicity and stuff, especially.
Have you ever challenged Grant to a foot race?
Never challenged Grant to a foot race. Really wish he'd teach me how to tap dance, but I am not that musically inclined. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.